when it comes to TV shows and movies, there are always actors and actresses who sign up for roles. The audition. Most don't make a cut because they don't do it properly, or they just don't physically look like it for the role that they're going to be auditioning for, or also how they might be good at singing, which this in Disney's the cases they always have the people where you have to sing at some parts, which in TV shows, Disney XD shows, there are sometimes one or two characters that will be singing in an episode. And in every single Disney movie out there, yes, there's actually like at least one song that is being sung, and it's either by an actor and actress who is an actual singer, which is pretty common thing if you ever work on a show that's as big as the name Disney. Now, recently, movies they've been picking people for different reasons, which of course this is mostly for representation, that stuff, and regarding the Little Mermaid, Halle Bailey was only chosen because how well she was singing, and she's a pop star, just like her sister Chloe Bailey, who just released an album. And that's how she got the part. And yeah, people they criticize her for oh, why did they pick an African American instead of white actors? And they did pick some terrible songs. Just changes things around because they were stereotypically inappropriate for today's audience. And now they're doing a Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which based off the original fable Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Which of course the original story is dark, as the crazy mind of the people who wrote it, and it's most of the time it's like tragedy, or sometimes it's a happy ending, kind of like Shakespeare stuff. It could either gonna be end up in like a happy ending, or it could be a nobody wins. Now there has been a live action version of Snow White, which called Snow White and the Huntsman, which stars Charlize Theron, African actress who is white skin. Kristen Stewart, you know her from the Twilight Saga and Charlie's Angels. And Chris Hemsworth, famously known for Thor and his role in Avengers, and also being one of the eldest Hemsworth brother. And that movie was well received and positive reviews, and everyone liked it. And now they're making a live action, but this is a woke remake, which they are having Rache Zegler in it, and she's a Latina actress, and she was slandering Disney animated movie that came out in 1937, saying like why would they start like make a story about of a young girl who got tricked into eating the apple that will have her fall asleep, and there's also this guy, the royal guy, who's going to be trying to find her. Who the and Claire called that prince guy a stalker, because Snow White do that prince guy from her childhood, and and Rache Zegler, she was slandering the story and give more power to women, and she was acting all oppressed while at the SAG AFTRA strike, which we know. And she was acting like she was entitled to getting more higher pay, and while she'd already been paid for other roles, and people were calling around for like acting all entitled, and of course that she's trying to advertise that I'm going to be playing the next Snow White. Although Kristen Stewart did a better job, and plus Kristen Stewart does her own stunts, like she did in Charlie's Angels. And of course, regarding that upcoming live action remake, which is most likely going to be terrible, and David Hand Jr. doesn't approve of the changes that are purposely making, and we all know what happened to Peter Pan, the Little Mermaid, and of course that Cleopatra documentary that Jada Pinkett Smith produced, but it was ill received because they used African American instead of an actual African or an Egyptian who looks mixed, closer to what an Egyptian would typically look like, even back in the day. So there's that issue. And we don't know what kind of songs they're going to make, but most likely those songs will be changed from the original version of the movie, just like how they did with The Little Mermaid, which, if The Little Mermaid would be good if they just kept the original song, they changed Kiss the Girl, and then they decided to add Scuttlebug by Aquafina, that Chinese American actress, and hip hop artist who is not really good at her craft and acts more American than Asian. And also regarding the Snow White, this actress right here, Renata Vaca, could have been just who could have done it. The role of Snow White, which she looks, if you look at her image, which from the movie Saw, to if you just dyed her hair or a bit darker and put her in that outfit, she could have rocked it way more better than Rache Zegler. Plus, Renata would probably not show disrespect for the original story, and while keeping the original context. That just of course live action they're going to make some changes here and there, but of course they're going to be very appreciate the history of the movie and which some live action movies that they did that when Beauty and the Beast starring Emma Watson who did Hermione in the Harry Potter movies. Yeah, that movie was good, like the original movie they made. And plus, Emma Watson knows how to act like a princess, unlike Rachel Zegler. And compared to the original Harry Potter book, Goblet of Fire, though in the movie version, Emma Watson does she did look different because she was a lot of the castmates' crush, if you heard of it. Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint, they had like a crush to her on Emma Watson and also and Tom Felton, Draco Malfoy, only considered as a friend after she drew a guy who looked like him skateboarding. And of course, since the Warner Brothers produced the movie version of the famous book series written by J.K. Rowling. Of course, well, Disney did a right pick for the live action version of Beauty and the Beast, and they could have gone the same route just like using Emma Watson, but now everything's going downhill. And not that because Emma Watson is white skinned or anything, but she brought her talent to the movies. And plus, she got also starred in other movies such as The Pursuing Wallflower, which also features Logan Lerman, who featured in Percy Jackson in the Lightning Thief movie. And she also did very good in that. So Disney could have gone the same route just like they did with Emma Watson, but they decided to do race swapping and they swapped out songs, they swapped out races and a whole bunch of other things. They only catered to propaganda, and they could have done a much better job. And there was a recent snapshot of who is playing Snow White, Rachel Zegler, versus who will be playing the Wicked Witch. Which people were saying the actress playing the Wicked Witch, who in she looks way hotter than Rachel Zegler. And before, and if Disney does another movie like such as action movie The Princess and the Frog, for example. They could have just used someone as talented like Kiki Palmer, and also as an older African American figure, Halle Berry, or someone famous and uh, and older figure, Angela Bassett, or Viola Davis, also an older figure. And of course, they might race swap it, and Tiana will be played by a white actress, and her best friend, who is in this. If you know the story of and watched the animated movie, the white friend of hers, which supported her even though she was poor and she married that prince who got turned into a frog, and Tiana had to kiss him, and she wanted a restaurant job, and then that evil person came along and turned into a frog too, and Prince Naveen, and now she had to kiss him, and then she ended up getting that becoming a royal, happy ending, and then the friend still supported her as a friend and didn't care if she was filthy rich because a friend is a friend. And of course, if they did a live action version of that, that friend would probably be a race swapped as well, and also would probably act oppressed. Because Disney is probably going to go in that route too. And who knows what might happen for Tangled. Because that was mostly, they changed that so Flit Rider was more accepted for all ages, and boys and girls, instead of just girls. And Kiki Palmer, yeah, she did a TikTok where if there was a hood version of Tangled, which was way more funnier but had some profanity. And what else? Other movies that have been classic movies that might be ruined, and they could have just do gone Beauty and the Beast that kind of way with Emma Watson. It's unfortunate that Disney is going that route, and instead of thinking of how successful can we make this by using big names and actually sticking to the script while just making minor changes here and there, and also probably making good music. Because most of the music in these news Disney movies, a lot of people were triggered by Scuttlebug. We don't want another repeat of that, do we? And plus, we don't exactly know if when they're going to release that Snow White live action remake due to that strike that's going on, which of course will extend it. And a lot of movie goers are complaining that how come good movies aren't coming out these days, and why is some stuff being delayed? Well, it's because of the strike, and your favorite actors and actresses are part of that. Screenwriters and producers are part of that strike. So unfortunately, that's what's going on. And we don't need another Rache Zegler who disrespects the original story. So you may not like the original story, but don't release it on and slander people for liking the original story. And if you really want to get committed to the art of the original story, at least appreciate it and show some respect to the person who originally did it, David Hand Jr. The and Disney, you can do better. You were successful using Emma Watson. Why aren't you the same anymore?